This week on Premier Preps, playoff football continues in the Sac Joaquin section. We've got Sac High taking on Roseville. NorCal volleyball begins with early round games featuring Bear River, Bradshaw Christian, and Big Valley Christian. Plus, we've got the comeback story of Liberty Ranch senior Rachel Smith, whose Hawks are making school history this year. You're watching Premier Preps. Welcome to another episode of Premier Preps. I'm your host, Nick Pecoraro. Thank you, as always, for hanging out on your Sunday. Premier Preps is sponsored by Premier Championship Rings. It's championship season, and my friend Bob Sebring has been in the business for more than 3 decades, helping design and craft some incredible jewelry for dozens of championship teams from right here in the Sac Joaquin section. You can check out what I'm talking about by visiting premiergradproducts.com, which also happens to be your source for all your graduation necessities, caps, gowns, tassels, announcements, and much more, including your custom championship bling from Premier Championship Rings, an official sponsor of Premier Preps. We start this week with the Sac Joaquin section quarterfinals of the football playoffs. In the Division IV bracket, features upstart Sacramento High School coming in as a 6th seed, looking to take down the 3rd-seeded Roseville, which earned its first bye week since the postseason decreased its bracket sizes from 16 teams to 12. Both teams hungry to punch a ticket into the section semis in Roseville on Friday night. Roseville coming off a first-round bye as the 3 seed in D4, hosting 6th-seeded Sac High. Buckle your seatbelt, folks, because we are in for a bumpy ride. First quarter, Tigers strike first as they almost get your boy to bite on the fake handoff. Mason Cisnera to Graham Daly for a 25-yard strike, and Roseville leads 7-0 early. But the Dragons waste no time in answering back. You know, some people like to kick returning habits. Well, Demarie Taylor is making a habit of returning kicks. 74 yards to the crib, and just like that, we're all knotted up at 7 apiece. Sac High quarterback LeRon James Radcliffe back to Taylor, this time for a 51-yard strike. I'm picking up Demarie Taylor from my high school fantasy team ASAP. Toward the end of the first, Roseville getting fancy like Applebee's on a date night. The double pass from Cisnera to Jaden Broussard to Kenny McClure for a 35-yard hookup, and that sets up the Tigers for a 1-yard direct snap to Colton Wolf. A 2-point conversion makes it 15-13 Tigers. And check out Roseville principal Ashley Sarin getting the push-ups for points in. Bend those elbows. On the next drive, Sac High's LeRon James Radcliffe had himself a night. He finds the end zone here from 3 yards out, and the Dragons go back in front 20-15. On Roseville's next drive, Mason Cisnera dumps it off to Caden Padone. He knows what to do with it from 15 yards out. 22-20 Roseville. We are headed for a shootout, folks. But the Dragons get one in just before the half as James Radcliffe hooking up with his cousin Cordell Radcliffe, a sophomore to freshman combo, by the way. Sac High leads 26-22 at the break. More Sac High in the third. Check out this catch from Jamel Eddings. In double coverage, not a problem. That extends the Dragons' lead to 33-22. And Roseville keeping pace, though, as Colton Wolf once again with the direct snap from a yard out to get the Tigers back within a field goal at 33-30 midway through the third. But LeRon James Radcliffe is at it again to close the third. He gets a little help from his O-line. That's Big Joe Falealili giving him the push. 39-30 Sac High as we enter the fourth. And the Dragons continue breathing fire as Cordell Radcliffe punches in his second TD of the game. What a football family that is. Sac High leads 45-30. But Roseville says this is our home turf and we're not going down without a fight. DeMarcus Gresham barrels in for a tutty to make it a 1-score game. Roseville finally gets the defensive stop it needs, and it has one last chance to tie the game. But on the final play of the game, Cisnera is chased down by Harold Osby, The clock strikes 0, and it's the Sac High Dragons who are moving on to the section semis.
Man, the hard work we've been putting in all day, all night, man, stuff crazy, man. We've been putting too much work just to get to this point and lose, bro. We got to keep going. We got to keep going.
Let's take a look at what's going on around the Sac Joaquin section playoff picture and who's making a championship run in the race for the ring, presented by Premier Championship Rings. What a weekend we've got ahead of us, starting in Division I, where Folsom hosts Inderkum in the semis for the second straight year, while Oak Ridge and Turlock hook up for the 5th straight postseason. In Division II, all chalk as Rockland hosts Manteca and St. Mary's hosts Grant. D2 is going to steal the weekend next week. In Division III, top-seeded Oakdale will face Destiny Christian, while West Park looks to reach its first section finals appearance in school history. They first have to go through Vanden at home. 12 Bridges looks unstoppable right now in D4, but Placer is up for an FVL rematch in the semis. And you just saw Sac High take down Roseville. The Dragons now head to number 2 Patterson. In D5, top seed Houston will host Union Mine, who knocked off defending champ Casa Roble on Friday, while Sutter hosts Lathrop on the other side. In D6 now, Bradshaw Christian and Linden combined for over 100 points in their quarterfinal games. Expect that one to be a barn burner. And we've got Sonora and Woodland Christian in the bottom half. And finally, in Division 7, top-seeded Somerville will host Big Valley Christian, and Stone Ridge Christian of Merced hosts Rio Vista. The race for the ring is presented by Premier Championship Rings. Visit premiergradproducts.com and celebrate like a champion with Premier Championship Rings, the choice of champions. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Only 2 more shows before we bring you section championship highlights. But for now, let's take a look at who we've got in our Premier Preps Top 10 football rankings as we enter the section semis. You know that feeling when you win it all? When you become a champion. Now you can celebrate like a champion with Premier Championship Rings. Bob Sebring has designed custom championship bling for more than 30 years and has been the trusted source for crafting priceless jewelry that tells the story of your team's championship journey. From football in the fall to baseball in the spring and everything in between, Premier Championship Rings has designed rings for dozens of local high school programs and even at the collegiate, pro, and youth levels as well. Whether it's a section, regional, or state title, Premier Championship Rings has you covered. So when your team wins the big game, you know what time it is. That's right, it's time to put a ring on it. Celebrate like a champion with Premier Championship Rings, the choice of champions. We are officially in win or go home time now in girls volleyball. The CIF State Championship Tournament began this week, where the best of the best are throwing down for that big piece of Golden State-shaped hardware. We go to Division 5, where Bear River was eliminated in the Sac Joaquin section semis, but played well enough to earn a 2 seed in the NorCal brackets, where the Bruins would host the Oakland section finalist Skyline Titans, who still have some players left over from when they beat Bear River a couple years ago in the state tourney. Could the Bruins get some payback at home? First round action of the CIF tournament Tuesday night in Lake of the Pines. Bear River with a 2 seed after reaching the Sac Joaquin section semis. Skyline out of the Oakland section in town for a NorCal opener. Here we go. First set. Bear River comes out swinging as Eden Cha makes a special delivery off the feed from Bella Stafford. Stafford, just a freshman, by the way, and so is this. Grace McEwen, goodness gracious, great balls of fire headed Skyline's way. But the Titans have a heavy hitter of their own in Layla Fight, getting up to throw down hard. But the Bruins finish off set 1 with a softer touch from Grace McEwen, and the Bruins lead 1-0. We switch sides now for set 2. Titans with some defense. That's Anasani Tueti putting the clamps on this Bruin attack. But Bear River gets a side out, and Grace McEwen with the old net scraper for an ace. And you know what? Anytime you hit the floor to save a point, you're probably going to make it on Premier Preps. Michelle Sam's getting dirty. She keeps it alive for Claire McDaniel, who cashes in on the point, and the Bruins take an 8-7 lead. Skyline's trying to keep things close, though, as Yan Wong hangs it and Layla Fight bangs it. But the Bruins pull away for a 25-12 win thanks to a heater from Eden Cha and a set-clinching ace from Hallie Hayden. And Bear River goes up 2-0. We've got some more Eden Cha in the third. She takes the feed from Taryn Cleek right here. And now, if Eden Cha goes for back-to-back kills like this, do we call that a cha-cha? Anyway, food for thought. Bruins are up 19-10 in the third, but hold up, wait a minute. Skyline's trying to get back in it. Intrigue Jackson with the heads-up block to start the comeback. And then who else but Layla Fight, showing some fight for the Titans, who come all the way back to knot it up at 22 apiece. But Bear River pulls away. The ace from Claire McDaniel closes out the sweep, and the Bruins advance to the NorCal quarterfinals.
I think we were still disciplined even when we fell down, and that we all knew we kept that energy up, and we made a good comeback after maybe like being a little relaxed, but I think we all came back as a team and we still played cohesive.
Can't get enough high school sports in Sacramento? Well, Premier Preps has got you covered like no one else. You want game highlights? We got you. You want local insight? We got you. You want inspirational feature stories? We've got you. How about exclusive interviews with prominent players and coaches in the area? We got you. Scores, updates, top plays, and much, much more every Sunday at 5 o'clock during the high school season on YouTube. We look back at the week that was and keep you updated on who's got next. So follow along on social media and subscribe on YouTube to Premier Preps with me, Nick Pecoraro, because it's giving Sacramento high school sports the coverage it deserves. It has been a historic season for the Liberty Ranch Hawks girls volleyball team. Program record for wins? Check. First ever section finals appearance? Check. Top seed in the CIF state tournament? Check. The Hawks are on a roll, but it's safe to say they may not have soared so high this year without senior Rachel Smith, who has returned from missing her entire junior year with an injury. Premier Preps has the story of her journey back to the court. The Liberty Ranch girls volleyball team has produced a historic season in 2024. And a big reason for the Hawks' success, and I mean a big reason, is 6'6" middle blocker Rachel Smith.
My whole family has played volleyball, so it was like a directory towards it. Like at one point in my life I was going to end up playing it. Because I originally started with like soccer and basketball, and I went to do softball so bad. Because my sister did it, so I wanted to follow up with my sister and be like her. She was able to help me as like a little kid, and then I loved the sport from then on.
She definitely is somebody like who is a rock on the team, and I don't know if like no one's gonna really brag about themselves like that. Like it's just, but she definitely is probably the best or one of the best players on this team. And I hope she knows that and hope she believes it at least.
She's always very encouraging, and anytime that there is a part of the game where we feel like oh, we're having like a very bad like time, and the moral is like going down, she just brings it back up. Kind of like the backbone of the team.
The key word there, backbone. Rachel's senior year was at one point in question due to a back injury she suffered before her junior year.
I hit the ground pretty hard at one point in practice, and I felt something in my back like move a bit. My L4 and L5 disc were popped out opposite ways, and so my L4 was right, my L5 was left. And so no matter what side, it was like moving. Like in my hips and my legs, it was more so on my right side that I felt it. So anytime I landed on my right leg, it like went straight up my back. And I pretty much ignored it for like the next 5-6 months and just let it hurt during gameplay. Because I knew I wanted to keep going, because that's when I was ready to go. I was ready to turn everything up. I got with my doctors again, and they said that if you keep playing, you're not going to be able to move very well, and that's going to hurt you in the future. And so they were like, our best recommendation is to take 5 months off, 4 to 5 months. And I didn't like that idea at all. I wanted to do high school so bad.
While there fortunately was no surgery required, Rachel had to make a difficult decision: play through the pain and risk further injury, or sit out her junior year entirely and bank on coming back strong as a senior. She also risked missing out on huge recruiting opportunities through club season.
I talked to my coaches. They agreed that I should take some time off of it because nationals were coming up for club. It was definitely something where I was like, what if I commit and I get hurt? I wouldn't be able to play future if I kept going on. And so I had to take a break from there.
When she had the injury junior year, she was there during practices, so she was always interacting with us, kind of helping coach out.
It definitely made passing much harder because we didn't have that rock to depend on, getting hands on balls. We just had to kind of figure it out, just because like her being so tall, it helps a lot.
And then didn't start really playing to like 80-100% until January.
The patience and the hard work has paid off. Entering the NorCal playoffs, Rachel led the entire Sac Joaquin section in hitting percentage and was the only player in the section in the top 10 in both kills and blocks. And Liberty Ranch has had a bar-raising season with a program record 34 wins and its first ever state tournament appearance.
Going back to now having her, it's like such a big difference, and you didn't really notice it in the moment so much, but now I do. Like, it's so helpful.
With Rachel back, it's just been so much better. Junior was good, but then senior year we've just been doing great. Yeah.
It's definitely a confidence booster, just being one of like the only teams at Liberty to be at this point with this many wins under our belt. In the beginning, I gave up too easily. It's like maybe getting like a slight touch on a block compared to like a full stuff. And as soon as like I got like one like great kill or one great step, it's like it turned on from there. It's like I can't do it. I just had to get myself out of it because no one else could. Giving 100 and giving whatever you got in the time.
From Liberty Ranch High School, I'm Nick Pecoraro, and this is Premier Preps. Want to get your student section featured on Premier Preps? Well, all you got to do is tag me on social media and you can be the next Premier Student Section of the week. Send me a 10 to 15 second clip of your student section to see if we can get you a spot on the show. This week, we've got the Whitney Wildcats, the X Factor as they're often known. This was way back from the Quarry Bowl this year. Nicely done, Whitney. You are the Premier Student Section of the week. We've got more state volleyball action, and we stay in the Division 5 bracket because, well, it was a rematch from the D5 Sac Joaquin Section Championship between Bradshaw Christian of Elk Grove and Big Valley Christian of Modesto. A 5-set classic in the section finals saw Bradshaw Christian go for back-to-back blue banners. But the Lions of Modesto had a new lease on life in the state tourney. And what better way to get some payback on the Pride than to knock them off in their home court? Who would have the last laugh? Bradshaw and Big Valley Christian, Part 2, Thursday in Elk Grove. That's right, a section finals rematch. Big Valley Christian looking to right the ship in the state tournament against Bradshaw Christian. Ding, ding, ding. Round 2, here we go. Jordan Beers led the state with 700 kills coming into Thursday, and she gets off to a hot start. Bradshaw keeping it close early on as Sophia Rios catches the defense snoozing, and then Monica Buchanan leaves earth for a second for a big hit. But Big Valley seizes game 1 as Jordan Beers finds a soft spot in the defense, 25-22 Lions. Switching sides for set 2 now, Ella Alavezos had a couple of big blocks in the second. Here's one of them, and the Lions are picking up right where they left off. This time, Alavezos with the good feed and freshman Faye Dobson with the good deed. But as always, the pride bounces back. Chloe Lester bangs it home to give Bradshaw some momentum. But it was too much Beers and too much Big Valley in the second. The Lions wrap up game 2, 25-20, and they have the pride on the ropes. Bradshaw making some adjustments in the third, though. Emerson Patterson getting into the swing of things. But the Lions go right back to work, feeding the ball to Jordan Beers, shown here looking quite stout. But Bradshaw gets the defensive stops that they've been looking for all game. Taylor Williams with the big stuff. And then Monica Buchanan follows suit to close out set 3, 25-18. And Bradshaw Christian has some life. To the fourth we go, the Lions on the hunt. Beers, giving people headaches. That was a common occurrence in my 20s. Big Valley trying to close this thing out. But Chloe Lester goes deep ball corner pocket and brings the pride to set point. And Emerson Patterson slams the door shut on set 4. The section final between these two went 5, so you know the state matchup was going to go 5 as well. In the 5th, Chloe Lester, too hot to handle. Bradshaw takes an early lead, but Beers will make your face tingle a bit. She doesn't want her stellar career to come to a close. But in the end, Bradshaw Christian comes back from an 0-2 deficit to win in 5. The Purple Rain is alive and well. Chloe Lester tells us how Bradshaw rolls.
We were just really resilient. Like, we didn't give up on anything. Our coach was like one at a time, and I feel like that really pushed us for what we needed to do on the court. I think our hype and just like staying focused. Like, once we get a big kill, it just like brings us all together, and then we just build off that.
Remember, if you won a section championship or are in pursuit of a state championship, then you can celebrate like a champion with Premier Championship rings. It doesn't matter what sport, it doesn't matter what season. Make sure you check out premiergradproducts.com and ring yourself up with Premier Championship rings, who helps bring us the Race for the Ring state tourney style. In the Division I NorCal Final Four, Folsom's run is brought to an end by Foothill of Pleasanton, who moves on to the NorCal Finals to take on Redwood of Larkspur. Redwood won it all back in 2021. The Oak Ridge Trojans were outlasted on Saturday by the Buchanan Bears of Clovis in 5, and the Bears will take on top-seeded San Ramon Valley in the NorCal D2 Finals. The NorCal D3 final will be a rematch of the Central Coast Section's D2 championship between Aragon of San Mateo and Monta Vista of Cupertino, both looking for their first state crown. Hillmar is one of the last teams standing from the Sac Joaquin section. On Tuesday, the second-seeded Yellow Jackets will host number 4 St. Patrick St. Vincent of Vallejo, who knocked off top-seeded Liberty Ranch on Saturday. You just saw Bradshaw Christian beat Big Valley Christian on Premier Preps. Well, the pride keeps the purple rain pouring into the NorCal Finals. Bradshaw heads to Emmanuel of Reedley on Tuesday for a chance to play for the D5 state crown. There is no state championship in D6, only regional champions. And so San Francisco Waldorf will take on St. Vincent de Paul for all the marbles on Tuesday. And in the Open Division, Rockland and head coach Brett Almazan Cesar fall to Archbishop Mitty. Almazan Cesar coached the Monarchs to 11 state championships. Mitty will take on the CCS Open champ St. Francis of Mountain View in the NorCal Final. Remember, visit premiergradproducts.com and celebrate like a champion with Premier Championship Rings, the choice of champions. LENI''s Pictures is the official photography sponsor for Premier PREPS. And now that the fall sports are wrapping up, the winter sports season is almost here. So this is a perfect time to book your team photo packages through LENI'Spictures.com. Not only do they provide great service, but they'll have your school and fields looking amazing with all of the custom-made team and individual banners that you might need. Visit LENI'Spictures.com and don't forget to use the promo code NP7 for $7 photo downloads exclusively through Premier PREPS. Now it's time to take a look at the latest Premier PREPS Big Picture Top 10 Girls Volleyball Rankings presented by LENI'S Pictures.
LENI'S Pictures is your go-to site for priceless photos and memorabilia. This local family business has captured great action shots for a decade, but there's so much more to offer with a personalized touch for team and individual photos, game day galleries, banners, yard signs, festive mementos for senior nights, team banquets, or even just to cheer your kid on at their games, all 100% custom made by LENI'S Pictures, any student, any season, any occasion. So make those memories last forever and visit LENI'Spictures.com and use the promo code NP7 for $7 photo downloads exclusively through Premier PREPS. That's LENI'Spictures.com, your official photography sponsor for Premier PREPS.
Infinite Performance Physical Therapy brings you our plays of the week every week here on Premier PREPS. Are you in need of rehab from an injury, or do you want to learn new ways to prevent further injury? Or you just want sport-specific training to keep you performing at peak levels? Then Dr. Janae Young at Infinite Performance Physical Therapy has you covered. She's got some incredible programs to help keep you on track. Hey, don't forget to send me your Plays of the Week nominees each week on social media. Just tag me with a short clip. Let me know what's going on with the play, and we'll see if we can get you on the show. If you've got a top play, we want to highlight you. Here's who we're highlighting this week in our Infinite Performance Plays of the Week. We start with girls volleyball. Bear River's Michelle Sams lays out to keep a long rally alive, and the hustle is directly rewarded as Claire McDaniel finds the point. Hustle plays win championships, and the Bruins are still in the hunt. We go to the Sac High Dragons, where QB LaRon James Radcliffe looking for Jamel Eddings in the end zone. Double coverage, over the shoulder, toes down, doing his homework, getting his chores done. Sac High wins 45-38. More state volleyball. Big Valley Christian's Jordan Beers is going head hunting, checking on people's reflexes with this swing. Big Valley loses, but Jordan Beers had an amazing career with more than 1,600 kills. And finally, we go back to Sac High's Demarie Taylor. It must be nap time because he's headed straight for the crib. 74 yards on his third kick return touchdown of the season. And that one kickstarts Sac High's win over Roseville. And it's also your Infinite Performance Play of the Week. A quick shout out to Pleasant Grove Junior Aubrey Tripp, who was the winner of our 1-year anniversary giveaway contest this week. Aubrey won herself a Premier PREPS hat and t-shirt, a $50 gift card to Handel's Ice Cream, and a free banner from LENI'S Pictures, all just for following along. Thank you very much, Aubrey, and thank you all for hanging out this week and every week on Premier PREPS, where we give Sacramento high school sports the coverage it deserves. We continue playoff football coverage as well as the final week of the state volleyball championship tournament, and maybe even a first glimpse of boys and girls basketball next week. So make sure you subscribe and tune in. Until then, I'm Nick Pecoraro.